So, wow. I mean, Barry is obviously here for all of us, but it's great just to see him playing his music, which I, feel is one of his. He has such a great legacy, and there's so many different qualities. But music is like the universal language, and so it speaks deeply to everyone. So, yeah, I want to share some of my experience with Barry, and then do a little meditation for all of us to connect in with him. First, I want to add one more testimonial I read from, many emails were sent in with testimonials about Barry, and I thought one was particularly astute and very, very pithy. And it was said simply, Barry was the real deal. A sage, a goofball, and a wizard. I thought that really kind of captured it. He had this kind of Mr. like a Taoist, Mr. Magoo. He was just kind of like, oh, what's next? Where am I? He doesn't quite have his glasses on, but he would always end up in the right place at the right time, and somehow the forces of nature would just take care of him and deliver him whatever he needed. I remember after teaching a retreat in Ireland with him, and we stopped in a town. We were driving for several hours. I was actually driving at that point, and I said, "Okay, well, Barry, why don't you just do the accounting, and we'll settle up on the trip, and the expenses and everything." And he starts going through his bag, and then he looks up at me and he says, "Well, Michael, I can't pay you." I'm driving the car and going, what do you mean you can't pay me? He says, "I've lost my wallet." He'd left his wallet with thousands of pounds in it in a shop 3 hours back. So of course we turn around and drive back there, and the shopkeeper's like, "Oh, did you lose this?" "Yeah, I'm holding this for you." So it's just all those kind of crazy moments with him, but I knew he was, ill, and but it didn't concern me really. I just said, "Oh, well, okay, he's processing something, and we'll just go on through it." And so I was really surprised when suddenly he left, and I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I know I'm going to have a visit." Okay, because we didn't have a chance to talk before he left. I said, "I know he's going to come," because the whole thing that happens after you physically, your Shen leave the body spirits, the 12 organ spirits, 5 yin ones and the 7 yang ones. And then in many traditions, they don't bury the person for like a week. Sometimes it's 3 days, or sometimes it's a week, whatever. But the reason for that is to allow the soul time to completion with all the other kind of earthly business before they move on. And so I had worked with many people dying, and so I knew this was going to happen. I knew he'd come to me, and we'd get our completion. And 2 days later, he did. He came to me, and normally these kinds of visitations, they're in like a different time zone, the souls, okay, and we're in the slow linear time zone here. They last for 30 seconds or a minute. I know Sonia Julian, who has a cold and couldn't share, but she wrote to me about, she was in a cave, and then Barry came to her and she had this visitation, and, and it was like very powerful, but, only lasted for like a minute or so. And Sonia's a part of Barry's a cousin, a part of his extended family. And that had been my general experience also, that, usually you can complete these things pretty fast because they're just, like a download and an upload at the same time. Well, this went on for almost an hour. I mean, we had so many experiences together that I think he wanted to digest again and just reconnect. And to tie up all the kind of deep, connections that we had. And we were in China together. We were in the Swiss Alps, paragliding, and doing Wujigong and the primordial Qigong everywhere, and just a huge opening, just incredible heart, and just sharing, and just hanging. And I was like, wow. I said, in the last 7 years, I had 8 years, I'd had a son. And so I'd been very busy, and we just communicated by email. I hadn't really talked to him. And so this is really like getting, live, direct, even though it was interdimensional. But I think it was also possible because, so many decades of internal alchemy, I'm kind of half living in those other dimensions and half here on Earth. And so it was very easy for me to hang with him close to where he is now. And I think that's also, and due to his cultivation, that we could just meet there and hang and just exchange. And, I want to talk a little bit about the Taoist notions of life and death. And contrary to what a lot of people feel about death, like it's this fearful unknown space, and you're going to meet your maker, maybe it's a day of judgment and all those kinds of things. This is not the Taoist view at all. And in fact, there's no attachment whatsoever, even though they cultivate a long life. The purpose is not to avoid death. And immortality is not about physical immortality. It's about achieving spiritual immortality. So unlike Western seekers of immortality, there's a fear of death there. I got to live 1,000 years and I freeze my body, and you're clinging to this life here. No, this is not the Taoist view at all. And the view is it's all about completion. You have a destiny, you have a worldly destiny, and then of course everybody shares the same spiritual destiny. You're going to go back to origin. That's the whole main theme of Lao Tzu, the Tao Te Ching. Okay, the Tao and the way of integrity is how I translate that, the Tao Te Ching. The main theme is like return to origin, and the origin is not somewhere else you're going. It's like deep inside your core. You're reconnecting heaven and earth inside your human core. So I knew from so many years, and Barry knew this also, that there's nothing to be afraid of with death. It's just, what side are you living on? Okay, the chi field is continuous. Okay, your subtle bodies are the bridge between your physical body, which is actually the slowest vibrating, level of your energy body, and emotional, mental, spiritual, sexual, etheric, soul etheric, and causal energy body, whatever categories you want to name them, it doesn't really matter. But it's a continuum. It's pulsing back and forth at all times. The moment of what people call death just means you stop pulsing back into the physical side. Depending on how much integrity you have, that's how the Taoists would define what your level of immortality is. How much are you able to creatively continue to create on the other side? So I normally advise people when someone passes, I said, look, don't pull on them. Don't. You're slowing them down. They're like going back to origin, they're going back to their source. And, humans are emotional, and someone dies and you just like still want them. And so you hold on to them. And I said, that slows them down. You don't really want to do that. But I got a completely, for me, shocking, okay, it's like unexpected, completely different message from Barry. Okay, hanging with him, he says, no, I want to connect with everybody that I know and love. I'm just fine with it. It's great. That's like part of my mission now, And I was like, oh, really? Okay, fantastic. And yeah, what I got was that he had literally, actually, his soul was called back by his oversoul. Now, what's an oversoul? So in traditional religions, they call them gods and goddesses. Top of Mount Olympus, there were 12 of them, okay? Oversoul is a Western term. The Hindus have an oversoul, a Paratman and an Atman soul. I mean, you find it in different cultures. So the soul is like the envelope for the 12 organ spirits, okay? And then the soul is a projection into this physical realm from an oversoul. And as it turns out, I knew this already, there's 12 of these oversouls, and they're like a team that co-create this reality. And this is where you get all these 12-fold zodiacs and the 12 animals and, well, the 12ness in time and space, okay? That's the whole basis of astrology, is that there's this team of co-creators. And so I knew Barry and I were part of the same oversoul group. And that was part of why it was like kind of easier to connect very effortlessly and very deeply. I mean, you have friends and lovers from all the oversoul groups. They're all humans, and it doesn't matter ultimately, because they all come from the same source. But these are like the dynamic managers of creation, okay? And they're still in process. They're not perfect, and then like the same in the myths of gods and goddesses, they have their struggles and battles and blah 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 blah. And beyond them is a great oneness, Tai, okay? So, but yeah, what I got from Barry was that he was like hanging out right there at the interface between the oversouls and human souls, and that he was completely available to support all his community. He wasn't trying to take on like all his humanity. He wasn't trying to be like, some avatar who's like, oh, I'll be the portal for everybody. He was really like, no, the people I've connected with in my lifetime and who I've had a spark with, and some feeling of love and other things, whatever, joy or creativity or whatever got shared. I'm here for them. I'm hanging out. And that means that, yeah, instead of trying to go all the way back to the source, he's hanging out at this kind of creative halfway point, which is incredibly valuable. And in a sense, it's a sacrifice on his part to do that, rather than, just going back into source and then, getting absorbed in and, getting recycled through other souls or whatever, happens. I won't go into whole discussions of reincarnation here, but so, I mean, that was really clearly transmitted to me during this hour-long, merging, soul merging. And I think it was really kind of, first of all, was holding this space for us too. Like it was like a big, celestial hug and a love fest. And it was so beautiful. I mean, I just can't tell you. I was just like in tears, and it was just, it was such a deep, completion for me. And so, yeah, I mean, we had just so many shares. He came on a 2-week, my honeymoon down the Grand Canyon, and the raft trip there, and we were deep in the earth, and Barry loved being there in the deep earth. And as I described in a recent newsletter I sent out about him, like I used to be a professional river rafting guide, and I was the head boatman on this trip, and I'd been down like 42 times, and like I was like a little bit overconfident. I'd done the river so many times, and the last rapid in the river, it's called Mile 209. It's not a very big rapid at all. I mean, there are huge ones. It's like your boat goes under, and you're just deluged with the roar of everything, and I was on this raft. It was just with my bride, Jem, and Barry. It's just the three of us. And I was just kind of like playing around and talking to them, like not paying too much attention, because it's just a small rapid, but I hit it at a weird angle, and it flipped, had a little curve, and it just turned us right over. And I'm like, oh my God, in the cold water, and you're upside down, and you're like, where's everybody? And then Barry pops up first and goes, hey, hi, I'm here. I said, I don't see my wife. Where's Jem? And he dives underneath her and like helps her come out of underneath the boat, because I was concerned she could be in her life jacket, but she could still be trapped under the raft. I mean, bravely went under and pulled her up. And I just felt, wow, thank you, Barry. I mean, I just did not want to have this sad, tragic ending to my honeymoon marriage. We got married on the top of a mountain in China, and then we, and Barry had met us in Las Vegas. Then we, drove to the Grand Canyon. And we also had this moment where we jumped off a skyscraper together with these bungee cords, 1,000 feet strapped in, and it stops, 10 feet above the ground, and you bounce a few times and they lower you down. And it's kind of like, we were practicing for this leap that he's making now. I was just like, okay, no fear, just jump, just go, And I feel that's what Barry did. He just got the message, from his oversoul. Was like, hey, you can serve more. You can do more for right now, because the planet is going through this rebirthing phase. And the energy body of the planet is expanding up. And of course, as it expands, all kinds of shit and dark forces came up, like the pandemic and the big pharma cabal and all the censorship and all that crap. That's just energy body that's rebirthing the planet and pushing out all the dark stuff out, all the super controllers and the greed and everything. But for those who are tuned in, it's like, yeah, this is part of the launch, the relaunch, of the planet. And Barry's decided, he was chosen really, I think, by his oversoul, our oversoul, to be, part of his support team. And that's just like a fantastic act of love and kindness, to accept that role and to give up your human relations and your human life here and to shift to the other side. I mean, because he was really quite young, like 74. I mean, I was like, what? Why Barry leave now, I mean, I got asked to stay here until I was 150. I was like, okay, I got a different job. I'm like on the ground team, and he's up there on the other part of the celestial team. Right. We're going to still work together. So anyway, I got some intimations from Barry about how to help people connect to him. And so that's what I want to do now, is just do like a guided meditation. And one of the things that I know Barry really loved, I had evolved an innovation within the primordial, form, which is a lineage form. It goes back, 800 years in China, Chang Song Fong, and, famous Taoist mountain, and the famous Taoist alchemist who created this form. It's a lineage form. And it was both Barry's and we both loved it. It was like our favorite. Okay. And it's just so powerful. And, but one thing I added to it was toning to the 4 directions. There's the 4 cardinal directions also, and 4 elements of fire in front and water in back, and metal or gold on the right and the wood on the left. And so it's, it's a south, north, east, west, just like the compass. And then the 5th element is the earth element, and that's the earth above, earth below, and the earth within our heart, the ground. So the Chinese use earth as their central element, as opposed to other systems, that use ether. Okay, it's just space. So yeah, I had developed this toning system because I knew that as you evolve your subtle bodies, and first you go through the phase of physical body, and then you're into your energy body, and it becomes light. So your light body, and you have all these astral colors, and you play with polarities, and you do all this stuff there, and you're working with your light body. But then as you move into the even higher formulas, or just happens spontaneously, you don't need to have the formulas, but that's just a kind of a structure to help people, track where they're going. You move into your sound body, and then all the polarities become sound. Okay. And there's no light to guide you. You're moving into the kind of deep space. And so it's all about sound. This is, why people love music, and why music is the universal language, because, and it's like in the Bible, in the beginning was the word, and the word is really just sound. Okay. So that's what's coming out of the Wuji, out of the unknown, is this massive primordial wall of sound. And then out of that is birthed our cosmos, and this pure fundamental tone of unity and love. And so you gotta, as you're integrating yourself back with the universe, you got to like integrate your sound body. And so this toning I put in with this form, it took me actually many years to develop the right tones. I tried the Chinese tones first, it didn't work. And Westerners need like, you know, their own tones. So Barry loved it, you know, because he was a musician and a singer. And I think he just like connected him also to that part of his musical creativity. So yeah, that toning is a key way to connect with Barry now. And so I'm going to just describe the outline of the meditation, and then I'll just go through it and guide it, and we'll all do it together. And I'd like everybody to tone together as we do it, okay? And for that, we could all unmute, okay? But so it's very simple meditation, okay? And we're going to start in the heart and tone, but before we tone at the heart center, from the heart center, the most important part of the meditation is to first connect to Barry and just feel him in your heart. And that'll be unique for everybody, whatever connection you had with him. Just, you can see his image, you can hear his voice, you can just go with the feeling. It doesn't matter however you do that. Just feel Barry. Expand your energy body so you get out of the dense physical body. Just feel like you're doubling or tripling the size, you know, of your body, and you still look like you, but you're just more spacious and room for chi to flow and everything in there. Your core channel opens up wider, and then in that space you connect. In that expanded open space, you connect to Barry, and your feeling of love for him and his love for you. And just first smile and embrace him. Give him an internal hug, you know, and let him hug you, and just feel like you're connecting to him. And then tone from that energy. Feel like Barry is toning with you together, okay? So you start off in your heart and you tone that once. And then you drop your energy body down into the core of the earth. That's just a question of intent. And you tone from the center of the earth, from the heart womb of the earth with Barry. And then you go up to the sun, the core of the sun, the heart of the sun, and you tone a third time with Barry.
Oh.
Hold on, we're going to get there. We're going to take off in just a minute. And then there's one final step, okay? We're going to go to the Polestar. Now, the Polestar has got the Big Dipper connected with it. There's 7 stars in the Big Dipper. And there's 4 and like form the ladle, you know, and then there's 3 stars that go up pointing towards the, you know, the North Star, the Polestar. Well, here's the image I got from Barry. You see that ladle and that neck, the 3 stars are like a neck of a pony. And the 4 stars are like the body of that pony or a horse, or, you know, and Barry is riding that. You have to see Barry, and he's wearing purple leathers, okay? And he's got a purple hat on, okay? Because purple is the color of the Polestar. The Taoists love purple, and it's like the star energy, okay? So Barry's wearing his star outfit here, okay? And you can see it however you want. There's a 10-gallon purple hat, or you can be a wizard dunce hat, or whatever you want. Whatever comes to you, you're going to see Barry however you want to see him.
Merlin.
He's decked out in his best purple. He's got silver spurs on, and you know, he's got this insane grin on his face. Okay, like I'm like riding the Big Dipper, and riding, and the North Star is the portal. Okay, Big Dipper like goes around to all the directions and is like distributing the star energy to the oversouls, who then distribute it down to the souls on Earth. So this is like, the central point of connection back to source, but you got to, this is like the go-between. And so now what you got to do, you see Barry up there writing and decked out in his purple leathers and his purple hat, and riding his Dow pony, okay, his Big Dipper Dow pony, and he might even have a guitar with him. I don't know, whatever. He could be playing a song or two.
Not anymore.
No, he's got. Oh, that's right. Left that part behind. I think he's just strumming on the stars now. Okay, I think that's what he does. Okay, he just kind of plucks them, like whatever. But so then you got to merge into Barry up there. You got a tone inside from the Polestar to all the directions of the Big Dipper goes through. Okay, with Barry, and then you just open to receive whatever comes. So your heart, your tone, center of the earth, your tone, center of the sun, and just like a ladder, we just go right up to Barry, riding the Big Dipper into the heart of the Polestar, which all the stars in the sky, of course, rotate around that star. Okay, that's due to the nature of the way the earth spins and this whole thing. So that's it. It's really simple. And, the key thing is to start off with your connection to Barry. So are there any questions just before we start this thing, in case somebody not clear on some detail here?
Yeah, just about the purple leather. Are you going to wear that for the meditation? Or?
I don't want to compete with Barry here. I'm not dressed up in my purples. I just wear the black.
YouTube isn't ready for that.
Yeah.
Next time.
Okay. So if there's no other questions, then I think that let's just all first just close our eyes. And by the way, after we do the meditation, we're going to allow a couple of minutes of silence for everybody just to digest and be with it on their own. Okay, this is really your meditation. It's not, I'm just giving you a little kind of a little structure to it and a little guidance, but it's really your meditation. You're doing it, and it's your connection to Barry. And we're going to take a couple of minutes of silence just to digest that. And then we're going to play what I think is his most heartrending song. Okay, how you doing? Okay, and with the slideshow of things from his life that Julian and Inga put together. Thank you so much. Your work on that is so beautiful with his song. And so that will be the closing of this ceremony with playing that song. Okay, and so we'll be in this state of connection with Barry, and we'll be hearing him sing that song. And I think it's just like mature overview of like what's life about, and so I think it'll just be perfect. Okay.
What I do, Michael, I think maybe after the meditation and the song and which is with the slideshow, I'm just gonna stop sharing the screen and put it on. I invite you to put it in gallery view again, and then we can at least wave to each other now to say goodbye. Yeah. I mean, with words, it might kind of be a bit disturb the energy. Yeah. We can kind of do a little gesture to say goodbye.
Yeah, we can.
Whatever you want to do, or dance or fly or whatever. And as a little announcement I would like to make, we've been working really hard to a deadline today to get this website up and running again, to adapt it to, let's say, the new situation. And it's really, really beautiful. Daniel, can you wait? Can you show yourself? Yeah, he spent a lot of time on it, on creating that website, and I invite all of you to go and look there. It's full with free meditations from Barry with his songs, and we continue updating it and putting more in it, but for now already it looks very beautiful. So please look at it. You can put it on your own. If you have websites, links or whatever, feel free to share so this website can become widely available to people, because when I asked about his legacy a couple of days before he passed on, he said like that was his deepest wish for all his meditations and recordings to be seen and shared freely with as many people as possible on this planet, so we all can do that and enjoy it. That I wanted to say, because then after there will be no words anymore, and the link and everything, and as well of the slideshow, and as well the overview from what many of you wrote in the light meditation circle, the tribute, I'm gonna send it as well in the mail out tomorrow, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you all remember. We still know what we're gonna do for the meditation, because connected, Barry.
I'm gonna guide you through that. So in case you forgot, don't worry. We'll just give the cues and then we'll do it, and it'll be really easy and really powerful and simple and deep. Okay. So okay, let's all just close our eyes and put your hands over your heart. And relax. Just see if there's any tension in your body. You could just let go of that tension right now. Smile wherever that tension is, and just really relax. But oh, by the way, make sure you're unmuted, because when we're going to tone together, you're going to want to make sure you're unmuted. So you could do that now. If you're muted, make sure that you are unmuted. Yeah. Okay. Or I don't know if you can unmute everybody if it's possible, but anyway, we're closing our eyes. We're just scanning our whole body. We're smiling, and just like, oh, my neck's a little tight, or oh, my back, or I'm just gonna smile that. Just relax, and all your organ spirits, and let's especially smile from our heart, which is the fire, and it's called the connection to original spirit. That's why the fire is so important. And they say the heart is the heart mind. It's the ruler of all the organ spirits, because it's got the vibration from source, that spiritual fire. But what it needs to do, we need to keep one hand on your heart and put one hand down by your navel center, and just smile down to your lower dantian and to your kidneys, which are programmed by so many millennia of ancestors and fear of death and all this other stuff about death. But just smile to all your fears of death. Just see that they're really silly, earthly, human projections, and just ask them to chill out and relax and enjoy the ride here. Okay. And that we're turning over complete trust to our love and connection to Barry. And we don't need to take any fear with us. And so we're just going to smile. And it's not related to the physical organ of the kidneys, it's to their energy body. It's like an orb. It's deep blue, black. And it's like the depths of the ocean. And it's just a deep part of the cosmos, deep space, deep ocean within the earth, and deep water within our body. It holds the power of feeling, the power of generation, sexual energy, great power of will, individuated will to reproduce ourselves, will to return to source, all kinds of will. Just smile. Love your water elements. Love the zhi, the ZHI, the Chinese term for the spirit of the water. And just embrace all that water, including the fear, is just the frozen water within the larger field of water. And feel your heart warming it and melting the ice, melting anything frozen. All your fears about death just dissolving. And take a deep breath and let out a sigh. That 3 times. Another deep breath. And a 3rd time. Inhale deep to your heart. Gather that fire, breathe it down. Yeah, and then smile again. Just embrace all that deep water. And just feel like you could be underwater and still breathe. You know, it's like not, you're not going to dry, you're not going to drown there. It's like the source of life itself. And your energy body doesn't need to breathe physical air, it just needs to breathe the chi there. All right. Now let's bring your hand back up. So both hands are over your heart and we're connecting to Barry again. Now more fully with deeper feeling, less subconscious or unconscious fear. And you can experiment which hand should be on top and which hand should be below. Okay. Sometimes the Taoists say the men should put the left hand close to the body and the woman the right, but that could be very personal. So just check and see which way it feels right for you. Left hand would be the yang hand and the right hand would be the yin hand, but you just check it out and just see how that feels right for you and put both hands there. And again, we're just going to smile to Barry, hear him, feel him, smell him, hug him, whatever way, how you want to connect with him. And just know that he's inside your heart and you are inside his heart. And just take a moment of silence just at being there with him. I mean, we could just stop right there and just do this and be plenty powerful, but we're going to take it to the max. And so now let's just feel like we're toning with Barry. We're going to take 2 breaths. The first breath is toning to the 4 directions: in front, to the right, behind, and to the left, the south, to the west, to the north, and to the east. And breath taken in, and you'll be toning above, below, and then in the center within. So let's inhale and take that first toning. Ah, e, oo, a, and like each time you're coming up a note, or maybe it's a half note, whatever. Take a deep breath. Ah, breath. And now let's each of us do that silently with our subtle bodies and with Barry silently. Just take the same 2 breaths and do it silently. And then let go and just observe neutrally the subtle body response of our toning together with Barry to all the sacred directions. 4 cardinal directions: heaven above, earth below, and the collective human heart within. Just feel that. And now let's all just smile down to the heart womb of Mother Earth. It's the midpoint between the North Pole and the South Pole. Just drop down there. That's the portal. That's the womb we were all born through. So this is just a return journey. We've all been here. It's in our memory bank. This is really just our deeper home. And now just feeling that Barry is still inside of us, and we have to expand here. The space is so big. Mother Earth's energy body is so large, and she's got like 9 golden layers of her energy body expanding out into space, and embracing all the planets and the sun and the stars. So just smile again here to Mother Earth, grateful to her, holding space for us and our journey, each of us in life, and the journey that we have shared with Barry. And let's tone from here, knowing that we're connecting to the 5 dragons, to the 4 cardinal directions and the dragon of the center of the earth. Inhaling, we'll do this together out loud. And again, let's do this silently, each of us with Barry, toning together silently to the energy body of Mother Earth from her heart womb. Just give yourself some time to digest that. Feel Barry smiling. He's really getting happy about this. He loves this inner hug with Mother Earth. Boy, that's creme de la creme. And now look up and within deeper and see the sun. And it's so big, its energy body, it embraces the whole solar system and the earth. So you see the earth and our energy body inside the core of the sun. And we're smiling into the whole energy body of the sun, into all through it to all the planets, and it also connects out to all the other stars. But it's our local star. We can connect to it physically. And this is the portal all the souls enter to our solar. It's the solar system and the heart portal of the sun, which the ancient Greeks called Christos, was the solar logos. And so we're just smiling to all the souls coming in and all the souls going out. And the sun shining and managing and radiating love to all those souls on the earth, working together with Mother Earth as a team. We know this from the greatest commonly, planetary and soul alchemy. We couple the sun and the earth. And we're doing that just by being present in each one now and toning again. Take a deep breath, and we're going to tone from the core of the sun. Inhaling. Inhale. And again, silently, together with Barry in the core of the sun, the earth, and our personal energy bodies, toning silently. And digesting that, letting that integrate to all your organ spirits, your personal soul. So we've got the energy bodies of the sun and the earth both pulsing and glowing within us. And this prepares us for the shift with Barry where he's going to introduce us to his wild Tao pony dressed in his purple leathers and his purple hat, riding on the Big Dipper as it circles around through the four seasons, but always connected into the center to the Polestar, which is pointing back towards origin, back towards source, to Lao Tzu calls the mother of all things, the great oneness, which is birthing all the stars, all the 12 oversouls, and all the countless human souls were coming directly from her. And this is just the return journey back here. And Barry's hanging there, helping us ride back the higher celestial level, celestial cycles back towards origin. He's our guide, our support, our lover, our friend, our comedian, our musician. He's everything he was in life. He's now playing all of that on a celestial level for us now. So we don't know exactly what to expect, but we're just gonna tune into this heart. We're now inside Barry's heart as he's riding his purple Tao pony and his purple leathers and his purple hat to the purple Polestar. And now we're going to tone with him from inside his heart as he rides around like kind of a cosmic merry-go-round. The Calliope playing music, maybe he's playing a Barry song, I don't know. Whatever you hear, music of the spheres. Take a deep breath and let's tone together out loud. And silently with Barry inside his heart, his cosmic heart. Relax your hands down. Stroke down the front of your chest, down to your navel center, just to help ground all this celestial energy. In fact, stroke from your third eye, all the way down your face, throat, whole front channel. Stroke down, all the way down. And then let's just take arm movement like as if you were reaching up and just making a circular torus-like movement, reaching up around the cosmic energy body, torus-shaped, and around and down. Let's do that 3 times just to ground and integrate all of the celestial energy into our personal energy body. And bring that energy back down, hands down to your navel, to ground and center that. And just now separate one hand on your heart, one hand on your navel, and just open your heart to Barry and just see if there's any message you want to give him or radiate any feeling to him, or if there's anything he wants to share with you and that you receive from him. So just make yourself open, and he's open always, and see what happens in that space of divine love. It might be helpful to keep the tongue on the roof of your mouth. Help chi flow down to the core channel. And put a big smile on your face. Outer smile mirroring your inner smile. And just bring both hands down to your navel and silently tone from your navel, just to further integrate and ground everything. Same 7 tones from your navel. Each of us silently tone. And by now, I think you might be feeling all 3 of your dantian are glowing, the head, the heart, and the belly. And this would be a great moment to play his love song, How You Doing?
Sorry.
I was saying, any chance that Barry has to jump in with his guitar, he'll do that.
We get another chance here. There we go. Enjoy.
Is this a good place up here?
Do you hear the sound?
Yeah, it's good.
Hear the sound? Oh.
How are we, how are we, how are we, how are we doing? How are we, how are we, how are we doing today? Did we smell at least one flower in each and every hour? Did we smile to the hills, to the clouds, to the rain and the sun? Did we smile to ourselves and everybody else? Did we sing and play? Did we have a lot of fun? how are we, how are we, how are we feeling? How are we, how are we, how are we feeling today? Did we feel abundant love and support from within and above? Did we feel the infinite love of Mother Earth? Did we finally love ourselves and everybody else? Did we finally realize our awesome worth? Are we smiling enough? Are we doing enough? Are we giving enough? Are we smiling enough? Are we doing enough? Are we giving enough? How are we, how are we, how are we, how are we giving? How are we, how are we, how are we giving today? Did we give thanks to the plants? Did we pray? Did we dance? Did we forgive ourselves and everybody else? Did we finally speak our truth and rediscover our youth? Did we liberate our immortal elf? How are we, how are we, how are we, how are we giving? How are we, how are we, how are we giving today? Did we give some contemplation to love and appreciation when our heart has an attitude of gratitude? The cosmos opens up, we get totally stuffed with love, which we can radiate in infinite magnitude. How are we, how are we, how are we, how are we loving? How are we, how are we, how are we loving today? Did our hearts reach out with a wild loving shout? Did we feel there was nothing at all that we couldn't do? Did our soul choir sing? Did our crystal voices ring? Was the whole universe smiling inside me and you? How are we, how are we, how are we, how are we being humans being? How are we, how are we, how are we being in love? Did we finally slow down? Did we let go all of our frowns? No thinking, emotion, no pain, no future or past. Did the present moment show up? Did we receive an overflowing cup? Are we finally waking up at last? Are we doing enough? Are we smiling enough? Are we feeling enough? Are we giving enough? Are we loving enough? Are we being enough in love? Are we being enough in love? How are we, how are we, how are we, how are we being? How are we, how are we, how are we being in love? Mother Earth says there's nothing more essential than to liberate our fullest potential absolutely fundamental for life and for truth and for love. There's nothing more essential than expressing our fullest potential, being in love with life, being in life with love.